Today we're going to talk about what to do when other people pull you down or try to knock you down. You know, we've all been there where like somebody says, "Oh, you shouldn't do this. You know, you should just play it safe. You're good as it is." You give you all the reasons why it's going to fail. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you the 3 Ds of setting proper boundaries. How to make your boundaries 3D. What's up, legend? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology, where I help geeks, gamers, and creatives to play life better and have more confidence and motivation in the process. And in order to have confidence and motivation, you really have to understand like who you are, what you want, where you're going, the direction that you're going. So just a little story time, I suppose. I remember back in my younger days when I was in my 20s. I'm 37 now. I remember I was going out to the clubs all the time and stuff like that. And I was talking to one of the kind of stage performer dancers after the club, just outside. And we were exchanging, cell phone information or whatever. And there was like a team of basketball players from the U.S. I live in Japan now, and I lived in Japan then as well. And so whatever, there were, U.S. basketball players that were outside, and they were like cajoling me and like, "Oh, look at this white boy, he thinks he's amazing, he's trying to pick up this girl," and all this other stuff, like from across the street, making fun of me for talking to a girl. And I noticed, like, in that moment, I just kind of looked at them. I was like, wow, it's really sad that they're resorting to that kind of interaction with reality and that mindset for how they should deal with other people and how they should treat their personal growth or their goals or aspirations or whatever it was. And it was just kind of like, it was just one of those moments that stuck with me. You might know like about crabs in a bucket, right? If you have one crab in a bucket, it can get out. Well, obviously depending on the height, but if you put another one in there, then it pulls the one that's trying to get out down. And that's how you keep them within the bucket. They can't escape from there because they're pulling each other down constantly. And that was definitely the sensation, the feeling, and the thought process that I had in that situation. And so I want to tell you what you can do, first of all, to understand what it means to be able to be pulled down, first of all. And then I'll give you the 3 Ds to make your boundaries more robust and sturdy. So first up, if you think about the structure of the metaphor, to be able to be pulled down, that means that you have to be on a higher plateau. And in metaphor, your status is based off height, right? I want to climb to the peaks. I'm climbing up the corporate ladder, right? I'm above it all. I'm looking down on people, right? That's all in relation to status. I look up to him. I look up to her. And in order to be pulled down, you have to be above the people who are doing the pulling down, right? To be knocked down might be a different thing. And when looking at it like that, you can think of yourself on a plateau. Do you elevate yourself artificially? Do you kind of put yourself up there? And they're pulling you down from that ground base level, or are you on the ground and they're below that? They're below you, below all the earthly, realm of things or whatever you want to call it. And that gives you some more perspective into what you are metaphorically doing to construct the context of the situation, so that you can think from there like, well, maybe I'm not really supposed to be kind of treating people in this unbalanced manner. Maybe I think too much of myself in this moment. And I'm not saying these things to tell you to lower yourself necessarily, but just to get an understanding. Like maybe I was kind of full of myself at that time when other people were, ripping on me. And maybe that was, I put myself in a position that I shouldn't have. Or maybe, I should be there to help pull them up and support the other people and bring them to that higher level that I feel that I have achieved, or in your situation that you have achieved. Okay, so just think metaphorically about how you structure things. And a lot of people say, oh, it's just the words that I use, that's just the language, whatever. And yet that's wrong. It's more than that, because we use metaphors to construct our understanding of reality. And the unconscious mind can communicate so much more than the conscious mind and pick up on so much more. And that's how it communicates, through metaphor, through symbols, through ideas and gestalt information. So how do you make your boundaries 3D? The first D in the 3Ds is to diagnose. Why are they saying these things? Why are they doing these things? What is it that other person in the relationship wants or needs? Have I done something to warrant this? Okay, take it from a scientific kind of third-person perspective. Like, observe it and say, did I really put myself in a situation that deserved this? Because sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, right? But having that ability to check and to distance yourself from your emotional ties to the situation, have dispassionate, observation of it, is a very good thing to do. Within neurolinguistic programming, there's this understanding that the situation, the problem, the conflict, whatever it is, you are a node within that. If there's a problem with another person, you are one node within that system, and changing your input into that system is going to give a different feedback loop, right? So it's important to be able to say, okay, well, how am I actually maintaining this problem? How am I creating this problem? And then going from there to change your own inputs into the system. Like I said, it's not always, I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying it's always your fault or anything like that. I'm just saying you might be doing something to create that issue. Like me kind of looking arrogant or too confident or something like that, or not being friendly enough to other people, could have been one of the things that was causing me issues in my younger years. The second D is to discuss. Talk with them about it. Go up them and get their opinions about it. Don't just mind read all the time. Mind reading, is just assuming that the other person is doing this thing because of this, and you're not actually having that conversation with them. But if you want to improve your boundaries, it also starts with discussing. And if you want to not get pulled down, right, you need to have that conversation with the person. Like, okay, I've kind of thought about it. I've diagnosed it. Well, is this true? Like, how do you feel about this? Why did you do that? Why did you say these things? And get their true, honest opinion. Sometimes you can't do it. Sometimes you don't even know the person, or it's a group of people, right? But you can do that quite often in many situations, right? And say, when you said this is how I felt. That probably wasn't your intention. Like, what did you want behind this? What was your goal here? And then the third D is to decide. You need to make a choice and either cut that person out of your life, or say, draw a line and say, okay, this happened before. This is not going to happen again. I'm drawing a line. This is my boundary. You cannot cross that anymore. If you do it again, then I'm sorry, we're not friends, or, you're out of my life. And that can be really hard, especially if they're family or close friends that you've been with for a long time. And yet that's also how you kind of grow in a lot of ways, is to make those tough choices and to decide who is going to be on your team, who is worthy of being with you in your pursuits and your goals in life. It's to make that decision. So once again, the 3Ds to make your boundaries 3D is 1, diagnose, 2, discuss, and 3, decide. Let me know down below if you have any other models or ways of dealing with people who bring you down, who knock you down, who take you down, and how this metaphorical understanding of where your position is in relation to them and how to make your boundaries 3D is really going to help you change your life for the better. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.